Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. We are waking the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. Did you guys know that 90% of startups fail? And the top reason is lack of market need. Like when I read that stat, I don't know. I'm shaking my head. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we're helping the world experience what's possible. And today it's in terms of business. Here to help me with that mission are some of the amazing expert authors of one of our newest books. This one is called The Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook, Brave Strategies for Authentic Success. Did you hear my emphasis on those two words in there? I've got some pretty awesome people in my Zoom room today. Donnie Bovine is a badass business owner, podcast host, and entrepreneur who went from working for others to creating a global brand, inspiring people to scale their businesses and find freedom. Kyle Steinley is the owner and executive producer of Do Good Video, where he creates conscious content with positive intent. And Meredith Grundy is here, founder of Grundy Coaching. She's a top-rated public speaking coach and an expert speaker, having delivered impactful and informative speeches globally. Welcome, guys. How you doing?
Amazing.
Oh, good.
Doing good.
We're going to have a juicy time today with these business topics.
I like that word.
Yes, we are. Meredith, you're going to get juicy first. Like, how do we make sure we don't fail? What's your secret?
Well, you're going to fail. You're going to have little failures along the way. And it's great that you asked this question because just recently, my daughter, I'm just going to give an example. My daughter came to me and she goes, I'm running for student rep. And this is my speech. And this is my poster. And she did her speech anytime she could not get an opportunity to do so in front of any audience all the time. It was cute. She started with a hook and it was great. She got in front of her class. Nerves got the best of her. She forgot half of her speech, even though she practiced the heck out of it. And she didn't get nominated. She didn't get chosen to be the student rep. And I remember this similar thing happening to me when I was younger as well. I also ran for student rep and my knees were knocking together and I didn't get the whole speech out. But we both had this really beautiful conversation about what did you learn from this? What did you learn from this quote unquote failure? And what is it that you're going to do next time to improve it? What do you think? First of all, did you do well? What worked? And then what are you going to do next time to make sure you succeed? She's like, well, I'm going to learn some breathing exercises. I'm going to learn to not let my nerves get the best of me. I'm going to practice more, or I'm going to have cue cards in front of me. So whatever it is, you adjust, you move on, and you commit to that. And I feel like that's what makes a successful business and entrepreneur.
I love that. Hey, remind us of your chapter title today.
My chapter title is Speak with Spark, Strategies to Prepare, Practice, Present Impactful Presentations. There's a lot of P's in there. So it's also a tongue twister.
I love that. Well, having gotten to know you a little bit in the last month or so with those tongue twisters that you have been having me practice. And every time I get in the middle of that alliteration, I relax. Like you just helping me have some fun with what I'm practicing versus getting all in my head about memorizing and doing this and doing that. So I love that your title is actually a tongue twister because you help us do it too, right? What do you want to tell people about their speaking?
Say the question again. I'm sorry.
What do you want to tell people about their speaking?
I want to tell people to be brave and that their stories matter. It doesn't matter how insignificant you think it is, or if it's at a client yesterday asked me the question, do you think this story is worthy? My answer is always, yes, your story is worthy. That's not even up for debate. It's about whether or not you're willing to share it with other people. And so I want to say, if I can, is that you need to use your voice. You need to lead. If you want to make a greater impact in the world, or you want to see change happen, you can't do that in a vacuum. You can't do that if you don't open your mouth and start creating connections with other people and finding the circle that's also going to lift you up and help you elevate that voice. It can be scary. I get it. I don't know if I buy into public speaking is the number one fear over death. I feel that public speaking is one of those things that people just have an inherent resistance to. And we're so used to hearing that narrative that it keeps people paralyzed. It gives them permission to not do something about it. And I will go further. I will even say to those that are working in companies who are presenting on a day-to-day basis, you have an opportunity to not sound like everybody else. You have an opportunity for your product or your service to be elevated because of how you convey that message, how you share that information can have a larger impact. And you can start to incorporate more stories and humanizing some of these presentations that you get to deliver on a day-to-day basis. So that's my spiel.
I love it. I love the way you kicked this off today. Thank you. Thanks for saying yes to this and for being here. You guys don't know how lucky you are to have Meredith here talking about speaking. If you want to polish yours and use it to impact the world and grow your business, get ready because she's got some golden nuggets. We're going to keep talking to her in a moment. Thank you, Meredith.
You're welcome.
Donnie, help me understand how we don't fail. What's your take on that?
So it's really, really simple. There's no such thing as failure. Let me explain. The world is one big fucking experiment. We're all trying to fiddle fuck around and figure out what the hell we're actually doing in life. I mean, look, most of us are stumbling through just trying to figure out what are the right actions to take. So if you understand that life is nothing more than an experiment, you're not actually failing unless you quit, right? So you're just figuring out ways that this current experiment didn't work. You learn from it and you move the hell on, right? If there's not some sort of chaos, self-inflicted chaos happening in your business, you're not going for it anyways. If there's calm seas, like there's nothing exploding, shit's not caving in on you, the plates aren't spinning up in the air, then you're not doing anything to actually build a company. Likely you're just creating a shitty job for yourself. So quit worrying about the failures. Start thinking through, what can I go fucking break so that I can actually create the company that gets me to that freedom I'm trying to reach. But most people, they're doing is they're living the supposed freedom life without having earned it yet. You don't get to live the I get to take time off anytime I want to life until you actually earn that damn life. So go build a damn company, quit worrying about freaking failure and have some fun with it, because there's too much world we all need to impact with our thoughts, ideas, and the missions we have. We need more people actually building successful companies because we're the only ones that are going to change the world. It's not the big businesses. It's not the freaking big corporations. It's a small little guys that are up and grow that will actually impact and make some massive change in this world. So quit worrying about failing and just go get shit done.
All right, let me put you on the spot with this one because I'm sure there's people listening and I agree with everything you said. It's been my way forward. And there was probably a moment where I looked at my bank account and decided that if something wasn't going to happen, this wasn't going to move forward. Like there's the reality of having to pay your mortgage. And I know you have a story around this, but what are you going to tell people about that kind of failure?
So here's the thing, guys. I mean, I'll tell the story really quick. You know, I literally, my wife's building the company, my wife's Jeep was repossessed. We almost lost a farm to foreclosure. Like that moment of time sucks. It's the scariest moment. You want to feel like, talk about not being a man, walk into your house and tell your wife that her Jeep just got repossessed, right? I mean, it was one of the darkest moments of my fucking life. But here's what I'll tell you. Even in that moment, I knew the exact things I needed to do to turn this fucking thing around. I wasn't finding people, telling them what I do, and then asking them to buy. That's the answer, right? There's no freaking funnel. There's no hack. There's no social media. There's no freaking getting on stages. No offense, Meredith. I love speaking on stages, right?
It doesn't have to be speaking on stages.
Right, absolutely, right. There's literally no magic bullet to pull yourself out of those dark places when you're building a business. It's literally go find somebody, tell them what you fucking do, and ask them to buy your stuff. You do that 100 times and watch what happens to your business. But most people, just like that fear of speaking. Oh, by the way, do you know what the third fear of in the world is. So fear of public speaking, fear of death, fear of dying while public speaking. Sorry, I had to digress.
Okay, I
Right?
hadn't heard that one.
So, but literally everything that you're avoiding in your business and that everything that's causing you to not financially make it, those are the hard things that you have to be doing to get where you want to go. You have to go tell people what you do, be confident in what you do, and ask them to buy. This is not about sales. It's not about closing. It's legitimately about getting face to face with somebody, getting into their world, getting them to understand what you do. And if they say no, cool. Do it 99 more freaking times and watch what happens to your business.
I love that. Thank you for that. Thanks for saying yes to this, for being here.
Oh, my honor, hon. For you, almost anything.
I'm going to repeat what I said about Meredith. You guys just don't know how lucky you are to have an expert like Donnie in terms of networking, sales, and just getting it done. This book, you guys, I am in love with what we did. I'm so honored and grateful to have all of you here. Kyle, tell us how, when you think of failure, like how do you frame that for yourself? How do we not fail?
Wow. Well, it's pretty hard to follow up Meredith and Donnie because they just hit it on the head where it's an illusion. It's not real. It's fake. It's all in your head. And it's really like, you just made a mistake and it's a lesson, an opportunity to learn a lesson, an opportunity to grow. But so they already said that. So I'm going to throw something else out there. If you don't want to fail, learn how to say yes to succeeding. Be open to success. Because I find in my own personal life that failure was one thing, but I was terrified of actually being a success. And that can mean different things to anybody, whether it's success like in love and relationships and money and your business, whatever. And that leads me to another thing I wanted to mention was that for me in my business journey, it's been more so a personal journey. It's been something that everything that I've encountered in my business has exposed something within me, a fear within me personally that I've had to address, and failure being one of them. And also like saying yes to success. There's a book that I've been reading recently called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I just want to drop that in there. He talks about this, and that we have like this pre-programmed, conditioned from early childhood thermostat setting, like a threshold for happiness that we pick up and read about it. It's incredible. But the more you push against that threshold, the more uncomfortable it is. But you can push up your threshold for happiness and success. And I'm currently in what I've bumped up against my threshold recently, and it's been very uncomfortable. And it's also about awareness, so bringing awareness into your life, into everything that you do, and like, oh, okay, there it is again. I'm getting really uncomfortable and I don't know why. Everything's going really good. I'm getting lots of business coming in. Like, what's going on? Why am I afraid? And that awareness allows me to take a step back and take a look at things, get out of my head, which is another obstacle and causes me to fail usually, or really is a block to success. Getting out of my head, getting into my heart and being like, okay, what's going on? Let me just feel this out, instead of trying to think my way out of a box. So bringing awareness to the situation, being open to success, and looking at it as an opportunity to learn and grow. I think those are some keys to overcoming failure.
I love it. Awareness is everything. Oh my God, you said a couple of things I need to rewind about. The Big Leap is an excellent book. It's the upper limit problem that he talks about. And that upper limit problem is a really interesting phenomenon. If you have the awareness and you can call it out in yourself, I think that might just be one marker of success. I love that. Hey, remind us of your chapter title, Kyle.
My chapter is called Demystifying Video for Business Development, Consciously Creating Your Reality with Your Thoughts.
Yeah, awesome. I'm thinking back to the business summit meeting we had when you did a really, really excellent presentation and had us just waking up to the fact that we get to take responsibility for helping people feel certain things. Like, yeah, what do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, or as I put it in the title, creating your reality with your thoughts. and this I'm taking a bit from Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's an incredible guy, talks a lot about this, is we create our reality with our thoughts. So you have a thought, you think about something, and then you have a corresponding feeling. So you're in your body, you're feeling something related to the thought. And I think in the presentation, I use the example of a tiger. And which is interesting is like, it doesn't matter. Your body doesn't know the difference between a thought and something in your outer reality. So there could be a tiger in the room, and usually, I mean, you're going to be probably afraid, like, holy shit, there's a tiger right here. What am I going to do about this? Versus if you have a thought, you're going to have the same feeling. Now, you probably have to think about it pretty hard, but if you think about a tiger being in the room and you imagine it there enough, you'll get that same feeling in your body. So the thoughts create a feeling in the body, and then the feelings drive the action. So it might be run away, it might be grab a spear that you have in your kitchen, which is probably unlikely, but you're going to have some action related to the feeling. So in video, we can, and we do, plant seeds, we plant thoughts in the messaging of the video. So we have that opportunity. It's a responsibility. And there's a lot of power in that. So we can, plant a message and a thought in the video by sharing something on screen. And then that person takes that thought and idea in their head, they watch the video, and then they think about it, and then they start to feel something related to the thought, and then they take an action. And that's really the point of every video, is to drive people to take an action. We call it a call to action. Sometimes it could be go to my website, buy this product, sign up for this, donate, click the button, whatever it is. But it starts, for me, it's like, okay, we have a lot of power here. So what are we going to do with this? Are we going to use it for good, or to create fear, to create love? How are we going to, use it? And where's it coming from within us? Like, so am I coming from a place of love, or am I coming from a place of fear? And I think I started that presentation with, how do you want people to come to you? Do your clients come to you out of fear, or do they come to you out of love? Is it a relief, like, oh, I'm so thankful that I found you, or, oh my God, I need you, help me. It's like working with clients that come to me out of fear are harder to work with. And I don't want to attract people like that. And I don't want to create that kind of reality. So I want people to come to me out of love, and love looks like a lot of different things. One face of love is gratitude. So it comes back to awareness again. It's like, how are we creating our realities, our own inner realities, and then how are we also creating other people's realities and how they see us and react and live in the world.
Kyle, thank you for saying yes to this. And you guys, I didn't mention it before, but a bunch of us got together for a retreat in May, and many of the business book people were in person. Kyle was one of them. We got to really get to know each other at next levels. And Kyle did some video for us, and actually not just for me, but for several people up there. Really spectacular stuff. Kyle, I'm grateful that you said yes and that you're here today to share.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, there's so many directions I want to go in, but I really want you guys to be able to share with people what makes you stand out in the sea of people that do what you do, right? Donnie, networking empire. What do you want to tell people about how you guys do business differently in terms of networking?
Well, first of all, how to stand out. I want to answer that one. I played the corporate game for almost 20 years. Like, so there was business work Donnie, and then there was the country dude Donnie, and they were definitely not the same people. I didn't think anybody would buy from a dude who wore ball caps and t-shirts and cussed and talked like I talk and carried on. And it was fascinating. When I opened my company, I had this whole mismatch in my head of who should be showing up in the world. And I remember I gave a keynote speech down in Florida, and the guy had paid me a lot of money to come down, keynote this event, 400 people. And right before I went on stage, the guy comes up and he grabs me and he goes, "Donnie, I need a favor." I said, "Okay, Steve, what do you need?" He goes, "Please don't go full Donnie." And I said, "What the fuck does that even mean?" And he goes, "Dude, I'm afraid you're going to show me up." And they're calling my name to come on stage, and I'm in my head, I'm going, and I looked at him, I said, "Steve, that is the dumbest fucking thing you could have ever said to me right before I took the stage." And at this point, I'm in blue jeans, but I'm in a button down, no hat, right? I wasn't cussing like I talked at home and the likes. And dude, I ran down that stage and I'd never done it before. And I flung my hands out as wide as I could fucking go. And I said, where the fuck are all my badasses at? And 95% of that 400 person audience went freaking bananas, right? Two things happened. There was one table in the back left corner that sat there and crossed their arms. You could tell that I just offended them to their fucking soul. And then I looked across the audience and I realized I don't need those 5 people. I need the 95% of the room that went fucking bananas. Second thing that hit me is that's the first time I ever showed up as me in a public space. And I realized right then and there that I was going to build everything based off of that. So one of the biggest things that sets us apart is you actually get to be you and build your freaking company. Like we do B2B networking where we bring companies together that sell into mid-market companies. Because if you sell into mid-market companies, traditionally what happens is you go to a networking event and you run into the realtors, the financial advisors, like all the people that sell B2C, and nothing against those folks. They're amazing people. But when you're selling into multi-million-dollar companies, those people can't help you. You can help them, but they can't help you back. So we created an environment where we bring all these people together that sell into mid-market and companies. They sell services to the entire company, not just the individuals in there. And it's been mind-blowing that once we figured out this core niche and place for people to actually come together and do these virtual networking groups, because let's be honest, if you got to drive into town and do a coffee meeting, you lose half a fucking day driving there, doing the meeting, driving home, right? If you sell into these multi-million-dollar companies, you don't have time to lose half a damn day. So we just create an environment, we bring them all together, and then we teach real networking. When we network at this level, our clients aren't networking. The CEO of a multi-million-dollar company is not sitting at a chamber event. They're not sitting in a happy hour, right? So we don't network for referrals. We network to get introduced to our referral partners. Who else sells to that level company? Cool. Let's get you introduced to them so y'all can create a synergy and go work on deals and actually acquisitions and things together. It just completely changed the environment. So what most people call networking is just a social club that's not anything's happening from it. We create an environment where real damn deals get done and big deals get done. It's been really, really cool.
Thank you. It's been cool for me. It's what helped me bring a business to empire level. And those partnerships are key. I know we could talk for 3 more hours about that. And I don't think we told everyone what your chapter title is. It's Networking That Doesn't Suck: How to Grow Your Influence with Key Partnerships. Love it. And you give some nuggets like all 3 of you do. So another shout out for doing what you did in your chapter, right? I asked these guys to give personal story, not just all their advice. Like, who are you to teach me if I can't get to know you first, right? So they did it. They put vulnerable stories in these chapters to help us get to know them, because that is why I will hire one of them, right? I'm so tired of people not being themselves. It's like your differentiator. If I line up 100 coaches and you're the one that's going to tell me the personal story that I resonate with, guess who gets hired? Right? So I love it that you guys did that. And then in the second part of these chapters, get ready, y'all, because you're going to get the golden nuggets. You are going to get the practical strategies that helped these successful business owners get to the next level. They're so generous. It's been actually just freaking amazing. Kyle,
Hold it really quick.
Yeah,
Sharon,
go for
my
it.
executive assistant, she's like, do you really want to give all that advice away? And
Yes.
I was like, yes, I do.
do.
Actually, I want to give it all away. There's
Yeah.
no secrets here. Everything that we know is on YouTube. We're just teaching it from our lens, our perspective. Like, so literally we give it all away. Back to you. I just
Yes.
want to throw that in there.
Yeah. Thank you for that. They really do. And it's really, really amazing. And you all know that that's like little tip of the iceberg of the journey anyway. So why aren't people being generous and sharing that? Everybody needs a coach, and great coaches have coaches. So like, get all the free information, but if you don't have a mentor to grab your hand and take you along to the next level, right? All right, Kyle, tell us a little bit about why you're doing things different in the video world.
In my opinion, I think what separates us from other video production companies is that we come from the heart. I mean, straight up, it's as simple as that. Is we, feel it out versus just thinking it out, but we don't neglect the mind. I mean, it's important. We have to get a little strategic, and that is what I talk about in my chapter, is using strategy in video and not just, running and gunning, as they call it. You just run around with a camera and start filming everything. Like, that usually leads to a big mess. So, there is some strategy and some thinking involved, but there's also the heart. I like to create videos that promote love and positivity, and there's this theme of healing in the video work that we do. So I like to work with small businesses in the health and wellness space and nonprofit organizations who are serving communities and individuals and families and helping to uplift people. So that's, I think, the biggest difference. I know there's video companies out there, production companies, that will just work with anybody, and that's not us. I don't just make videos for anybody about anything. It's got to have some theme of like that. That's why I call it doing good. It really has nothing to do with doing. It has to do with being love first. That's another tagline we have: be love, do good, have impact. So whenever you're being love in your thoughts and your words and your actions, and to me, this business, Do Good Video, is an action. When we are love in that, then whatever we do will be done well. It'll be done good. It'll be done with heart, and it'll have a positive impact. So that sort of perspective, and that's where we come from. I don't really see any other video companies doing that.
Kyle, I always love how you show up. I'm sorry, Laura. I had to say it. He always, this is Kyle every freaking time. I just love the way he shows up.
Well, think about
Thanks,
it for
Donnie.
a second, you guys. Like, every single entrepreneur on the face of the planet is creating content that they want to use to change the world for good, for better. And they aren't always taking responsibility for the level of it that Kyle's talking about. So if you're going to put the energy and intention into that content creation, you have to understand that you've got that responsibility, because people are bringing it in at a cellular level and creating their lives from that place. This is not small potatoes things. This is big stuff. And so that's what I love the most about you, Kyle. And I want the world to understand how you're creating for us, how you're helping us take that responsibility and then put something out there that we fall in love with, the world can do something with, right? They're inspired, they're motivated, but they're more than inspired. They are infused with a higher frequency vibration that then they go show up with. That's the ripple.
Yeah. Yes.
It is a huge ripple. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And speaking of ripples, Meredith, I want you to talk about how, I've worked with at least 3 speaking coaches. And when I hired you, things changed for lots of reasons. And I'm not going to give them all up yet. I will shout you out in a minute, but I want to hear it from you first. Like, how are you doing things differently for people who are showing up and standing on a stage?
Thank you for the question. I'm going to start by saying that I deeply care about every single client and every single team that I've gotten to work with, and I deeply care about their success. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them take those brave steps forward. That means the world to me. I feel what really separates me out from other people is that I have this amazing background as an actor. I have a master's degree in physical theater, contemporary performance. I also have this very playful side to me. I'm an improviser. I'm a former teacher of the Second City. And I took all of those skill sets and I use them with each one of my clients. And it's always a unique experience with everyone, because not every single one of my clients is in the same place. And I get to play and I get to have fun, and I get to discover alongside with my clients what's working for them and what's not working for them, because my goal is that they shine and that they bring a unique voice to the stage. I feel that a presentation, I don't even like the word presentation anymore. It's to me, that a presentation or a keynote talk or a talk or whatever you want to call it, we're losing the messages these days because we're not creating experiences for people. We're not incorporating our art, our creativity, our innovations. We're not showing, we're doing a lot of telling. And I feel what separates me from other coaches is that I just want you to create an experience. You are the host of your own party. Bring it on. There are no limits at all.
I love that. Okay. So like I said, I had worked with a couple people, and this may sound so small, but for me, it was like, oh, that one's new for me. You introduced me to the beats of my talk. And when I looked at it in writing, because that's how I started, is just to write it all out and decide, what did I want to do there? But when you introduced me to the beats of it, then all of a sudden the whole thing had a rhythm. And I'm a poetry fan, and there's poems in my stuff. But when you made me realize that the entire presentation could be that, my whole world lit up. I'm like, I just had the biggest aha. Do you want to say anything about beats?
Yeah. So for example, with your talk, we broke it down in beats, and I had you look at each section of that talk, which is, it's a change of thought. It's a change of motivation. It's, what do you want your audience to feel in this moment? What is your objective for them? And then being able to play that objective. Like right now, I want you to feel calm. So I'm going to change my voice so that you're going to feel a little bit more calm in this section. Or I need you to feel in this section inspired. So the inflection, everything, your physicality, it's going to change because you're being very clear about what it is that you want from them in that moment. I love Donnie, you like went out on stage and you just let it rip. You're like, I want you to fucking have a good time. And that's exactly what they did. That's a beat. And then you can get serious, you can bring it down. But people oftentimes, what I noticed is missing is the composition of the piece. It's that experience, like you said, that we're trying to create. It's your poem.
God, that's really
Love it.
cool to think about. What a
Yeah.
great perspective.
And that's just one gift Meredith gave me, you guys. So again, I'm going to say it about all three of you and say it to the listeners. You just don't know how lucky you are when you buy this book. Because you're going to get nuggets you didn't have before, and from generous, heart-centered people who just want you to succeed. And, we've got this book out on Amazon. We hope that you go grab a copy of the Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook. But we've got one more question. I have one more question for all of you. This is going to be one that we have to be careful, because I think we could probably be here for another 3 hours. So I'm going to model it what I want you guys to do. And y'all, I know you're going to nod your head at this one, but we all started somewhere at the beginning of this entrepreneurial journey. And oh man, if I could go back to that Laura and give her some advice. And mine is going to be, take more risks, girl. Just be brave about it. And that is where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to challenge you all to do it in a sentence. I know it's going to be hard. Okay. Kyle, you're up.
Ooh,
I know, no pressure. So, you're thinking about that Kyle that started that video business way back when, and you didn't know what you know now, right? What advice would you give that Kyle?
Ask for help.
Oh, that's a good one.
Period.
Amen to
it
the
took me a
ask for
long-
help.
Stop.
Period.
Yeah, period.
Yes.
Raise your hand if you
Unseen.
didn't for like the first year or so.
I was gonna say
of your
it took me a
business, right?
long time to ask for help, and yeah,
Oh
I
my
needed
gosh.
it early on. I needed it,
100%.
so ask for help.
Brilliant. Yes, you guys, if you are not watching our video, the nods and the hand raises, you missed them all. Okay. Meredith, what would you say to the
I'm going to go
younger-
with my first thought, best thought. You are enough.
Mm.
Mm.
You're enough.
Yeah. So thoughts of not good enough, y'all, those are boring to me.
Mhm.
They're only going to paralyze you. You are enough. Love it, Meredith. All right, Donnie.
You're not getting one sentence, you're getting two.
The rule break.
First
Fine,
one?
fine.
Yeah. The first one, sell one thing and get really fucking good at that one thing. I had 6 damn companies at one point. The second one, don't make yourself an island. Like when it's hard, everything's dark, we're fucking everything up. Get around people that are doing it in the game, the entrepreneurs, and like, I know some more than one sentence, but I have to explain what I mean by an island. When it was dark, we didn't raise our hand to say, hey, I need help. We're like, we don't want anybody to know we're fucking up, because if some people know we're fucking up, nobody will buy from us,
Mm.
right? Don't
Mhm.
make yourself an island. Get around people that are just a little bit ahead of you and ask them how the fuck they did it and watch what happens, right? Being an entrepreneur, running a business, we're all fucking crazy to do this. We're the only people in the world that wake up every day knowing we're going to get punched in the damn face and smile and do it any damn way. Right? We're the only people that 1 minute we're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And then the next minute we're like, why the fuck am I still doing this? Right? This is not an easy thing to do, but my God, there's no greater method on the planet to meet the person in the mirror than building a company, because you're going to find out what the fuck you're made of. Sorry, Laura, tangent.
I like it, Donnie. All right, you guys, I'm going to do a little show and tell of this gorgeous book for all of you. So if you're not watching the video, you're missing this amazing book cover right now, the Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook, Brave Strategies for Authentic Success. Shout out to Melissa Henry. She created Galaxy Girl for me. That's what you're staring at right now. And I loved the way that she did this. She took this idea in my head about who I am and what this journey has been like for me, and she just put it so beautifully into this cover. So you guys, another huge thank you to all three of you, Meredith, Donnie, Kyle. Thank you so much for what you do in the world, and thanks for being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
So you guys, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community. We are not going to let you stay on the island alone. All right. But all you got to do is reach out. So if you heard something today that gave you the goosebumps, or you're like, oh my God, I got a question, or you wanted to continue the conversation we were having, drop down into the show notes. Everybody's hooked up with their websites. Please go explore. They are up to some awesome things in the world, and they're there for you. They're ready to answer the question, take you the next step on the journey, get you that community for your island, right? And you can also join us for a book launch party October 31st. If you're listening in the right timing, we're going to have all of the co-authors of the Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook. We're going to have a massive giveaway on Halloween night for this party, you guys. So if you're listening, please come join us for the party. There's information down below about that. And of course, we want you to hop over to Amazon now and just grab your copy. This book is going to be at a really special price for launch. You're not going to want to miss it. It is going to change your life and business to own this book and be a part of this community. Lastly, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.